So close to 17, I guess, right? 14 command I shared yesterday, and in continuation with that, we have command for permission. So I'll write 15th step. I hope you receive my mail. Change permission of the file. So we can change for file also and for directory also. 16th would be change permission of directory, and I'll be running this both the command. Okay, so this is my terminal, and you guys open when you open your Ubuntu. So you can open this terminal and same command you can try running there. Uh, basic Unix commands. Okay. So change permission of file. First, I need to see how many files are there. Let me go to downloads. So I find so many files there. There is one example.txt, and this example.txt is having what is the numerical value of this permission. So we know how to read this, right? We know how to read this value. This is a permission thing. So how to read this value, and how this is arranged in order. So arranged in order means we know this is honor. The first is for honor, RW. Excuse me, R. Second is for group, and this R is for others, right? So when I combine all of this permission, when I combine all of this permission, then I get to know what value is there, what numerical values I need to define to honor, group, and others. This was 6, 4 plus 2. RW stand for 6. This R is 4, and this is 4. Read, write permission, read permission, read permission. So if I want to change this to, let's say, 640, right? If I want to use this 640 permission, and if you understand me, 640, what do we mean by 640? So this first one is for honor, who has created the file. Second 4 is for group, and this 0 is for others, or rest of the world. So now in honor, uh, right, honor is having 6 permission, means R, let me write value for R, read, W, write, and execution. So 6 means RW, right? 4 plus 2. 4 means just R. So you can refer it as like this. And then you can say the other is having just 0 permission. So nothing is there. This is for honor again. This is for group people. Let me run this command. 640. Okay. 640 here. So I'll use command chmod. I'll use command chmod. Excuse me. Chmod, then the value. And I said I'll give value as 640. I'll give value as 640, and my file name, which is example.txt. Now, if I run this, maybe if this directory is having some permission related issues, right? You can get error that permission is denied. Now, whenever you see such error, permission is denied. So at this point, please start writing as a note. So you can make one note and say, whenever we get any permission issues, whenever we get permission denied, error. This is the error, okay? So what do you understand by permission denied? That you're not getting permission to access that file or to copy any file in that directory. So whenever we get permission denied error, in file or directory, always use sudo in lowercase, and this is super user. Okay, so sudo and then rest of the command. Always use sudo before any command. So if you're copying, moving, deleting, if that is giving you this particular error, please remember this error, because oftentimes you'll get this. So sudo is an rescue command. Okay, it will help you to get out of this permission. So there's a question. Let me see that question. Okay, all right, fine. So this is for ch mode. Okay, change mode. Start using for other, like try giving access to only owner, only group, only file. So if we remember this three part, our job becomes very easy. And this is what we need to write in our CR change request when we write uh, any CR and assign that to admin or change related team to create a directory. Now, second, I want to change the ownership, right? I want to change the ownership of the same file, example.txt. So currently, who is owner of this file? This guy is owner. This guy is owner. Nilesh is owner, as in whoever is created the file. This is the group. Okay, and we know what is group. Uh, uh, if I have 10 different people, so let me take this example. Actually, system group and functional group. How do we create in a project? I have, say, one big cluster. Okay, I have a big cluster. So whenever I say cluster, what do you understand by cluster? Cluster is group of nodes, group of machine. So cluster is a group of node. So this node is nothing but laptop, desktop, virtual instances, cloud computing, any of it can be. Now in this cluster, there are multiple projects running, right? Let's say there are total 3 projects running. Project 1, project 2, and project 3. Your production project, real time project. Now question is, all these 3 projects are done by 3 different teams. 3 different individual teams are involved to create their project, to do unit testing, to perform platform wise operation, to promote to higher environments, and do bunch of other activities, right? But all their different team. Project 1, let's say here we have 4 developers, 2 test 4 developers, 2 tester, and some architect, some management, some DevOps, different teams. In project 3 also have 3 developers. They are individual. They're individual. I'm not saying they are part of this. Okay, tester. I have just one here, and this there we have 2 developers, no tester. They're testing themselves. Now question is, I don't want to give access to all of these people of entire cluster. So I want to separate this permission, and I only want to give a specific permission. Let's say 30% of this cluster access I want to give to these people. So 30% of cluster access only I want to assign to project 1 people. So I'll create one group. And I will assign this all people in a single group. And that group name can be project 1, right? So whenever I assign group permission of any directory, so this people can by default get access of that file. Similarly, I'll create one new group and add these 2 people. Wherever I give access to that group, these people can access that file. In similar fashion, we define it. Okay, so group is actually very important uh, in order to secure the services, because you cannot open your entire cluster for everybody. That is the reason we are doing this. I want to change the ownership of this file. That is my objective. Now to change the ownership, what is the command? To change the ownership, Let me write this command first. Chmod 640 example.txt. So this is for file. Let's say you want to run this for a directory. Now whenever you see any directory, I'll give permission to maybe I'll give permission to maybe this directory, Scala exercise questions. Okay, this is my directory. And how do I know this is a directory? I can see dr here. Now chmod, and whenever I see a directory, I want to give a full permission, recursive permission, because I have so many files inside this folder, right? Whenever you see a directory, guys, first observation, you can go to that directory and check it whether you have file or not. So I can see few more directory, right? Problem 1, problem 2. Let me go to problem 2. If I go to problem 2, then I find files. So if I visualize this, it is looking like this. I have directory 1 where I have two more directories, directory A and directory B. Then inside this directory A, I have a file, and inside directory B also I have a file. So inside this both the directory I have many files. Now this whole thing is representing as a tree, and these are non-empty directory. These are non-empty directory, which means we have some files and folder inside this. Now what I'm thinking, if I give permission to this, so I only want to give permission to directory 1, or I want to give a recursive permission. So if you want to give only permission to directory 1, then you can give a name of this directory. If you want to keep your access till directory A only, again you can give a specific name. But if you want that whatever changes you are doing in directory 1 should be applicable in directory A, B files to everywhere, then we run that recursive command. So in recursive, I will just add minus R for recursive. Chmod. Okay, this is change mode. See the command, guys, carefully. Chmod, change mode, minus R is recursive. So minus R I'll give after permission, and I want to give permission here as 400. So when I say 400, I will give it this access. I'll give this access to only honor, right? To only honor, because if we go here and see, honor is having R stand for read permission, and if I'm only giving for first part, which means I'm giving for honor only, the second and third others and group are not getting any permissions. So in order to understand this better, you will have to actually exercise this all the command and see how these are effective. Moving on to the next, minus R space directory name, which is Scala. I think I'm already behind, so let me come out of this first. Yeah, I'll check my present working directory, and this is fine. Again, I'll go back because I want to run a recursive command. Chmod 400, okay, minus R Scala exercise questions. Scala exercise questions. It is saying no such file or directory. 1 second. Why such error? Permission is changed. Anyways, yeah. This is for permission. So if you see here, I can see only D. This is this currently is in my Mac operating system. That's why this is depending on the permission which you're saying. This depends on different OS. Okay, so maybe same thing if you're same command if you're running and checking in Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, Linux. So here you will find DRR or just DR. Okay, so file system permission is different in operating system. That's not a problem, but I can see permission has been given as 4 because there is no other permission for groups and others. Only honor has a permission. Can I go inside this Scala exercise question? and see it. Can you go inside? Now look, immediately I'm getting error as permission denied, right? Let's rescue this permission denied error for this file. So what observation we have seen in last file? What was the note? Whenever you get permission denied, you'll have to use a sudo command. But where? Before any command. So before this cd, I will use sudo and enter. Whenever you type sudo, it will ask for password. And once you have given password, then you are inside, and then you can use lslrt. So lslrt is working now. Why it's not going inside? Well, let me use lslrt with recursive. So this is permission changes. Okay, let me give this to 646. 646 means owner has a read and write, group has the read permission, and others has also read and write permission. So you can quickly edit. Okay, 646. Add this value and say this is minus r lsrt. One second, guys. I'm just trying to come out from here. Okay, there's some unexpected error. Why this is not getting inside? Let me give full permission to owner. Okay. Okay. Now it is working. So ch mode, change mode. This is value. Now ownership, I wanted to change. Ownership, I want to change of the file called example.txt. Now to change the ownership, minus r 17th, change ownership excuse me, of file. So this is what I'm going to do currently. Ch, okay. Earlier it was ch mode. Now it will be ch on. OWN stand for ownership. So ch on space what is your next honor? So current honor is this, because you are going to change a file permission for this example.txt, and example.txt is on by this user. So you should be having multiple user in order to change this. So let me see if this works, because I need to otherwise create a honor. I had honor name as Hadoop. I had honor name as Hadoop. So I have changed it now, right? If you see it now, example.txt. If you see example.txt, you can quickly check that earlier it was on by different user. Currently it is on by different user, right? So what is my current user? My current user is this. Can I read a file from here also, from this current user? So reading permission is there, because read and write I can do it. Okay. So this is how you can change the ownership of the file. And ownership you often change when you get any error while reading the file. Okay, so maybe why this ownership is very important, I will tell you. because in real-time production we have seen such error. We've seen such error. There's a question. How to create honor? I'll come to that, Rutukesh. So uh, next part is okay. What we are doing here. Why ownership is required? I'm telling you that part currently. Okay. Command we know CHOWN is a change ownership. Now, uh, why ownership is required? So let's say we three people, person one, person two, person three. We all three are developer. Okay. We all three are developer and working with some project, working with a project. All three are involved in project A. This is my project name. Okay. We all three are working in this project. Now, suppose I created some file. So obviously, when we are working in same project, we are accessing to same server. Our server is same, our directory structure, our group names, everything is same, right? Whatever file I'm able to access from P1, same file can be accessed by P2 and P3 also, and equal permission we have given for all people. Now, question is here. Suppose I create a file uh, using my access. So here, all this P1, P2, P3 have a two different access. Let's see the case number one. Case number one says we have an individual access. We have a individual access. Individual access means you have your own username, own password. P2 has their own username, own password. P3 has own username, own password. This is actually sometime critical because if P1 has created a file, right, using their own individual name, using case one, and he's not present in the office next day, maybe, or he's not available if you want a help from him. So P1 has created a file, and that file you want to access from P2. Okay, this is second person. Now obviously P2 cannot access a file which P1 has created, and if this guy is not available, he is off that day, so I cannot access that file. There is a dependency that that file can only be accessed by P1. So that's why this access is important. With before going anywhere, any other directory, give access to all the people who can access that project or group. So if I give access to that group, other people can directly access P2 and P3. Second case, so this is individual access. Okay, I have seen this two, 3 times, and that's why then we decided to create a group and then keep all the people in group. If they want to give access, they are not giving access to themselves, they're giving access to group. In order to get access from group, everybody can now see the file and operate something. Case 2, we have a common access. So oftentimes it is recommended, common access means all this P1, P2, P3 have a same credentials, username and password. So using this common access, if P1 creates a file, P2 can access. If P3 creates a file, also P1 can access. So anybody can access this file using common access. Case 2 is the best scenario if you are working with some project or some server. Individual access is okay if you are creating some file which is only separate with you. So remember these two cases. Okay. So ownership is changed. Let me revert back. Chmod Nilesh and example.txt. Sorry, ch on it should be. Always double check. So if you see now this circle, it has changed the ownership, right? This is one. This is one to changing the ownership. Sudo I'm using guys for permission thing. I'm keep repeating this because we are in starting sessions. Once this Unix part is done, okay, and you'll get time after tomorrow. So to practice this, guys. because all these commands I'll be using in regular basis with Hadoop. So if you're not good with this, you'll confuse oftentimes. Now next command is a group change. Change group of the file, right? Change group of the file, and command here for changing group is sudo chgrp change group, and which group you want to give. Currently group is staff. This is a group. So let me actually work with example.txt only. So staff is a group. Now I want to change it from staff to staff other group name. Let's say staff 1. Okay, I want to change it to staff 1. But first thing, do I have any group created? Do I have any staff 1 available here? So since group and other honors are not there, we'll see two more command in fact, how to create a honor and how to create a group. Okay, how to create a honor and how to create a group. So these two commands we'll see, so that we can have a multiple honor and multiple group and we can perform this activity. But whatever command I have run here, the same command will work if you have multiple groups available with you. And same thing recursively, then you can give access to folder if you want. This is the basic 18 commands, guys. Recursively we need every day. So please make a practice of this 18 commands. Okay. Next is the database. So quickly I'll go to database also, and couple of queries I'll see. So in database, I'll be basically working with the MySQL. Look, whatever this commands and database and collection ops concept I'm discussing currently, I'm not started a single percent of Hadoop. I'm talking only about prerequisite. So this is all prerequisites that you should be good with this part. Then only I can jump into Hadoop and start talking about Hadoop, because Hadoop first needs expertise from this side. Okay, then only we can actually accommodate ourselves there. Okay, because here we're learning in bits and pieces, and then we're connecting these dots and learning Hadoop part. So database, I'm selecting MySQL because this is already available in my machine, and I have given this folder location to you guys also, from where you can download this. In a powertech.in site, there is a online support. So in online support, you get this file, download and access from there. So DDL first, data definition language, DDL stand for data definition language. Okay, now here I want to create a table first. So I want to create a table, and I will run a query called create. I'll run a query called create, create and then table name. Create table. Table name is, let's say, customer. I'll just give cust, and this customer is having ID as followed by an teaser. This customer is having name as varchar. You can give char string also. Then you have city also. Let's say city is 6. If I run this DDL statement, right? If I run this DDL statement, my table will be created. And I'm not talking only theoretical. Let me open actually a cell. So this is already installed in my machine, and this is what recommendation for you guys also. Set up everything in your machine so that you can access at any time. This is my MySQL. So here in MySQL, I'll first run a command. Very first command should be show databases. This command I'm running to see database. So let me actually see database here also. I first went to MySQL cell, and then I'm running this command in my cell. So databases. When I run this command, I can see there are n different databases. DAS, healthcare, information system, MySQL, performance schema, etc. Right? If I want to use any database, because this is good for management. If you have 1,000 table and you want to separate how many table are part of database one, how many table are part of database two, and then you'll see this database is created for which country or what information we are keeping. Is it banking data, healthcare data, sales data, right? So likewise, we separate them so that we can access this data quickly and we know where they are managed. When I run through databases, I can see many databases are coming. Now I decided to use one of the database. So I'd say use and database name. You guys can see these are my all database. This below thing is my database. These are, and I want to use this database, right? So if I want to use this database, I need to write after use. So use and database name. When you run this query, now look, earlier it was just one query, that's why I did not select it and then run. But here I have now two queries, right? So when you have two or multiple queries in this, then start selecting that query which you want to run and then click on this sign of a spark. Looks like a spark sign. Once you click, it is selected now. This database has been selected. So use database, and the best part, these are all case insensitive. So if I'm writing in uppercase, lowercase, doesn't matter. This is case insensitive. So you can use upper or lower for the same query to look. After database name, I'll see do we have any table available. These are guys, people who have seen already database in anywhere, Oracle, DB2. You'll find this very easy. But people whom this is all new thing, okay, then there is a strong recommendation. Spend some time here in databases, okay, because database and programming and Unix is only thing which Hadoop works. So if you are good in this three basic part, our journey becomes very easy. So tables. When I run this query, I can see there are many files, many tables, right? These are all tables. So many tables I can see, right? But how can I access this table? How can I see information from here? So if I want to see this information, then I need to run DRL queries. All these queries are known as DRL queries. DRL stand for data retrieval language. Data retrieval language. So I'm trying to retrieve. That's why we are saying it's a retrieval language. And what query I'm running? This is very popular query, anyways. Select star from table name. So I want to see record from EMP table. Okay. So I'll run a query here. Select star. Let me write a query, then I'll explain you what is a star and what is select and what is other term. Now here, if you check my whole query, select star from table name. So what is this star for? What is this star for? This star means I'm saying I want to access all columns. I want to access all the columns from table name called EMP, right? This is my table name. So from this table, let me reiterate this again. From this table, I want to access all the columns. That's what star means, okay? If you want to see only a few column from this table, then there are some other query. I'll run all the queries to see how they're performing, okay? Let me actually run this first. Select a star from table name, because this is the easiest one to see all the record. Now again, I'll select this. And click here. When I run this, I can see there's a ID, name, and city. There's one column. First column is ID. Second column is name. and third column is city. And these are records which I have inserted. I'll tell you how to insert this record. But currently this is my column number 1, column number 2, column number 3. So what do you understand? When you give this a star, which means it takes all the columns. What if I only want to get this C3? If I only want to see C3, I don't want to see C1 and C2, then I can give a specific name, right? Instead of a star, if I give this name, which is city column, then I'll get only city records. Can we run here? Star. So I'll change it to city now, and then run this query again. Keep doing this exercise. I only get city, right? So if you fully understand this, select is selecting the record. This is your defined column from the table name. Suppose you don't know how many columns are there. How many columns are there in your table? What query you run to see number of columns? So there's a command called desc, and desc is a shortcut for describe. So if you type describe and table name, if you see describe and table name, all the column you can see from this table. Select this query, execute it again. Now I can see in ID, name and city, this is my column name. What is the data type? Excuse me. Why data type is important? Because if I try to insert other than integer in column 1, or if I try to insert other than varchar in name and city, it is start throwing me exception. So data type means we are actually bounding that column. It can only take integer data, it can only take varchar, and it can only take varchar. So this is how you're bounding your columns, and that's why they are known as a structured query language. What do you understand by SQL? Currently I'm doing SQL thing only, though this is a MySQL database, but SQL stands for structured query language. Structured query language. So I'm running query, that's okay. I'm running query on language, but what is a structured? Structured is only one type of data. Structured is, it is only one type of data, structured. So if you ask me how many different data we have then, so that part we'll see when we go and understand data category. In this data category, you will find there's a structured category, there's a semi-structured category, there's the unstructured category. There is a excuse me, there is an unstructured category. Okay, so structured, semi-structured and unstructured. So we are talking currently about this part. This semi-structured and unstructured is a wide category. It's a very big category. Okay, I'll revisit this chapter, data category part, once our MySQL is done. So this thing we'll see when we discuss about big data. What is the structured, semi-structured and unstructured, and how can we deal with this whole data set? Okay, so we'll keep this data category talk later. Now we can see number of we know number. This is a column name, this is a data type. What do you see? Null and yes, yes, yes. Okay, null means it is I'm not given anything, that if I do not pass any value for that column, so keep null. Null means there is no record. It's like nothing. Null stand for nothing. If there is no record, then you will see null in place of the value for that column. So null is a notation in MySQL. Null means nothing. There is an empty record. Key. I'll visit this part later. Here in MySQL, in structured query language, we have many key concept. Primary key, primary key, foreign key, unique key, reference key, composite key. Okay, many keys are there. But for us, if you know primary key and foreign key, it's okay. Only two keys important: foreign key and primary key. So I'll introduce you what is primary key and foreign key. Default. So if you do not give any value, by default it will keep as null, null, null. This is my table structure, my table information uh, before writing anything. Because here I understand I need to pass integer, varchar, and varchar. Okay, so this is your how you describe the table. So we have seen uh, database creation, table selection. Let's see how to create a new table. So I will create a new table using DDL concept, and my table name is cust. Let me copy this, paste it here. Do we have any cust data already? Let run this query. So tables, cust is already available. Okay, so if you try to run this query, let me actually run this intentionally for you. So when I run this query, I immediately see there is an exception coming at last. Okay, these are all your acknowledgement. And again, I recommend you guys, whenever you run any query, please go there and check whether that query is running successfully or not. So if you see green sign, green tick, it is running. But when you see this cross mark, right? So this is not running. We have some issues in this query. We have some issues in this query, and that issues is this description is displayed here. So this is your action, and this is the response of that action. What is the response here? Error code 1050 table cust already exists. It's written in plain English. This table is already present. That's why you cannot create it. And this is the total time which your MySQL is taking to run the query. This is dependent on processor. What is your processor? i3, i7, i5. We are working with a different OS. Okay, so we are currently not bothered about this time. This time can be anything, because currently we are not maintaining this time. Currently we are only taking care of what action we are running and what response it is giving. Just two things, right? So this is how you can see the acknowledgement. These are nothing but acknowledgement of your queries. What query you are running and what output you are getting. If I change this cust from cust to my cust, if I change this from cust to my cust, I think I'll be able to successfully create this table. Now, when I run this query, right? Can you see it last again? Please double check the acknowledgement, guys. So when I run this query, I can see this acknowledgement and zero row affected, as in this comes like that only. But when my table is created, how do I check table is created or not? I'll give you another query. This took 0.034 second. Can I again run the same query, show tables? If I run the same query, show tables, I should be able to see that table name, which is my cust, which is my cust. Where is my table? This is my table, my cust, right? This is my table, and now I can insert a records. So I think so far you know how to create this table, how to see records. This is the most important part, I feel, a DML section. DML stands for data manipulation, data manipulation language. What do you understand by data manipulation language? You're going to perform insert, update, delete, mainly these three operations. Okay, mainly you perform I stand for insert, then you perform U stand for update, and then you perform delete, D stand for delete, IUD. Okay, now first obviously I will insert first, then only I can update it, because if there is no record, how can I update it? And then if record is available, then I can delete it also. So what are the commands we have here to do this? First, insert into cust, and I think this is my cust, right? Insert into my cust table name, okay, values. So you'll have to get a values here, and then within this bracket you can pass a value. So ID, name and city. ID, name and city. What if you give ID as 1.0? What? Let's say you made this mistake, because data type should be very clear when you work with a structured query language, right? If you able to recall this 1.0 thing, now we have seen this in old school days and college time. So 1.0 belongs to float or double. It's not an integer anymore. Whenever you see any decimal value, it's either float or double. So 1.0 is for ID, okay? And I'm doing this mistake intentionally to tell you the error. And name I'm giving John. This name thing always we define within single quote. So whenever there is any letters or words or alphabetical types of data, they often we store inside single quote, because these are known as a string data. And varchar is one type of a string character only, okay? So John, that's why we have given inside single quote. City is, let's say, Delhi. Now when I give this 1.0 John and Delhi, my two records are absolutely fine, because these are varchar and these are also varchar. How about this? Can we run this query? So let's run this query and see. They start giving me exception. I can see my acknowledgement. It says unknown column John in filled list. Unknown column John in filled list. I'm getting this because of this record. So or maybe I just copied, that's why they're not encoded well. Let me correct it. Let me run it. So this query is affected now, okay? And select a star from table name again. Let's see how this record is coming. Select a star from table name, my underscore cust. When you run this query, this 1.0 you have given, though it is considered only as an integer. This is considered only as an integer, right? Because 1.0, it has replaced this point thing. If I type point 1.5 also, it will only treat as an integer. So it will keep only one. So this thing, first of all, this is not uh, required when you insert any type of data for integer column, okay? So check this before inserting anything. This is one way to insert the data. I can run multiple queries all together. I can say 2 comma, name and city. So name is this time Dave and city is this time city is Lisbon. Okay. Now we know this records we will have to give inside a single quote, because these are variable character. The moment I do not give any, let's say, any value inside this and try to execute this query, when I try to execute this query, again it throws me exception, unknown column Dave in filled list. It is not understanding what exactly this means, right? So exception and error is very easy to read here, and you should read this and often try to remember that if you get this error, if you get this exception, then how can you come out of this error and exception? Those part are known as a debugging. Okay, so debugging is very important for developers and programmer. If you don't know how to debug, if you don't know how to debug, then if you get any exception in a real-time environment, your support team is sending you one exception log file, then how can you read it if you don't know debugging style? So debugging is very important in any programming language, any database, anywhere. If you're working with the system, this is the most important part, I feel, from a developer point of view. Okay, so I think this is clear, and I can give a multiple values altogether here. If I want to give 3 and I want to give another name, okay, I want to give another name, I want to give another city. So this is my record, and then I can run this query. My 2 records will be appended. When I run this query, I'll see 3 rows. First, which I inserted earlier. Second, which I gave this, and third is this record. This is so far insert. So I'll keep 2 insert records. First, I can give this one. Second, I can give this one. This will definitely work, but what you are giving, this won't be stored. If I give 2.5 instead of 2 only, then when my record will store inside this table, then only I'll see 2, because 2.5 is not interpreted by integer. Integer can only understand the numeric value. Okay, so this basic parts we should know before doing this operations. Now last thing for today is update. How to update this? Let's say I want to update city from Pune, to Paris. I want to update city for Anna, this third record. Okay, so when you want to update for this third record, you want to change this city. You want to change this city from Pune to Paris. That's my requirement coming from business. So how do I change this? Now, if I want to change with the existing record, obviously I will have to work with update. I'll have to run a query in update, and that's what I'm running here. That's what I'm running here in this query part first. So check this command carefully. Update update table name mycust date table name, set what you want to change. So you want to change this Pune to Paris. And what is a Pune? Pune is a city, right? So city is equal to, within single quote, because these are single quotes value, within single quote you write a value which you want. Paris, that's it. And you just have to say where id is equal to 3, because I'm saying how my query will understand which column value they want to change as Paris. So here I said you want to change this where id is equal to 3, because I'm talking about this row, right? I'm talking about this row. So in order to change this Pune from Paris, I will have to pass some reference. Then only I can make a changes here. Getting it? If I want to make a change in this column, I will have to pass some reference. So 3 is a reference for what? For Pune, since they are in single column, single row. If I run this query, my records will be updated. And then again, I run this query, and instead of Pune, you will find it has changed to Paris. A quick query, very simple command. Only logic we need to understand, syntax, how we are running a command. Okay. So this is, guys, today about how to see database. How to see database. There is one more thing. Suppose you want to create your database, so you can give create database and your database name, whichever you want. Let's say org. You want to give org. So this is your database name, and then you can select this org and start working it. So insert and update we have seen. Tomorrow we'll see delete command, how to delete it, then few key concept, and once we're good with the database, then I will start big data.